I thought I should give you an update on how things are going, and I wish I could say that things were going great, but since the last update, which came out on the 1st of March, or when I recorded that on the 1st of March, I haven't shot any photos. I haven't gone outside a single night to shoot photos, because it's either been super, super windy, which would cause all sorts of shake with the camera. It's been super, super cloudy. Literally for 3 weeks, it has been overcast. The only time that it is clear is the sun might pop out for an hour or two in the afternoon. It's been super, super cold, and I, at the point until just recently, did not have a lens warmer, so I would have gotten all sorts of fogging on the lens. And then finally, the first night that we actually had some good weather that I could go out and shoot was March 8th, and that was the full moon. And so it was too bright to get anything. So I haven't been outside to shoot anything, and it's really upsetting me because this is something that I wanted to pursue and I wanted to talk to you about and share these experiences with you, but unfortunately, there's nothing there. There's nothing to show. And so I thought in this update, I would give you some apps that I'm using, talk to you about some apps that I'm using, as well as some plans going forward for, what I plan to do and getting out there and getting some photographs. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was an app called Clear Outside. Now, I'm a big fan of Dark Sky, the weather app. I don't know if this is developed by them or if it's using Dark Sky data, but I love Dark Sky because it's really good at telling you what the future forecast is going to be, when it's going to be raining, things you need to be aware of. And this app from Clear Sky is really good because even if you don't care about all this other data that's here, the visibility and the chance of rain and all of those kinds of things, the one thing that is really good, especially for people who are getting into astrophotography, is the time, and it's color-coded. So whenever you go through this app and you see things that are red, it means this is obviously not a good time to go out and try to get sky photos because it's going to be overcast, unless, of course, you want to get some overcast days or some overcast shots. But, and here's the thing that I'm excited about, because coming up on Sunday, March 22nd, it is a new moon, and right now it is showing clear skies. So I'm very excited about going out on this night, starting at around 11 o'clock. We should have total darkness. I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to capture some sky stuff. Just going to get back into it, practice getting some wide sky photography of the stars, making sure that I'm getting them in focus, making sure that I'm getting enough exposure. And I think I want to try this two ways. I want to do some stacked images, but I also want to see what I can get with just a single image. How good can I get with a single image? And I'll talk about 500 rule and stuff probably at another time. But I'm really excited about Clear Sky or Clear Outside is the app, because it does give you a very good idea of what you could expect in the coming hours. So I do like that app a lot. The other one that I have picked up is, Dark Sky. Now, Dark Sky is an app that shows you where are the dark places. And unfortunately, I live in this edge of the city. It's right around a yellow zone, although it's only going to take a few minutes to get out to a green zone and maybe about 15 minutes to get out to a clear dark zone. And so what this app does, what Dark Sky does, is it shows you where are the dark regions of the Earth that aren't light polluted. And so there's some that are very close to here, and I think I'm going to at least go out to a yellow-green zone on Sunday to see what I can get. So another update coming your way for sure. Let's see. I also have Stellarium Plus is one that I like, and I've had constellations and star apps since the iPad first came out, since I first got my first iPhone, because I like how they have the accelerometer in here and the compass in here, which can tell you which way you're pointing and everything. So this is really good and really handy to kind of go out, especially for someone that's still a relative beginner in this to go out and kind of point and say, okay, where is the Milky Way coming up? Or where is Orion at this time of the year? And it's almost ready to go away, apparently. So I really like this app, and you can zoom in to see what these constellations and stars should look like. You can get some other information. So I really like this app a lot. And I've used other apps before. I still have Star Walk on here from the early days. I have Sky Guide on here as well. And then the final one that I'm going to use in the future that I've downloaded just so I can be familiar with it is PS Align Pro. Now, I didn't get the PS Align, which is the free version. I went ahead and got the PS Align Pro. This is so I can do polar alignment correctly with my star tracker. And I haven't gotten a star tracker yet. I'll talk more about that in just a minute. But the Polar Scope Align Pro is supposed to help you nail your polar alignment so that you don't have any blur in your photos and you can take longer photos. But again, this is something I haven't used yet because because I haven't, number one, gone out to shoot anything. Number two, I don't have that sky tracker yet. The third thing that I use isn't actually an app on the phone, but it's actually a website that I forget where I saw this at, but I really like it. It is Astronomy Tools, and it's astronomy.tools is the website. And what I like about this website is you can put in what type of telescope you have, what kind of binoculars you have, what kind of camera and lens that you have, and then you can call up like the Andromeda Galaxy. So you can go to M31 and you can say, okay, based on my focal length and the lens that I'm using and my camera that I'm using, what kind of a shot can I expect? And I gotta say, with just a simple 300 millimeter lens, I'm kind of excited about the kind of shot that I'm going to be able to get just right with my camera when I decide to go and do the deep sky, the narrow field, or the deep field. I forget how they talk about it. Photography, so I can go in and see how close I can get to some of these celestial objects. But for right now, I do want to shoot wide, and thanks to apps like Clear Outside, I know that this Sunday I should be able to get some really cool photographs. And then I can worry about going to these other things, to the telescope and the telephoto lens, the telescope and the sky tracker a little bit later on. Which reminds me, hold on just a second. Okay, so I said in the previous video that I had access to a 300 millimeter Canon lens, an f2.8, which I was really looking forward to using. But some things have changed and I'm not going to be able to access that lens. But, and I've been shooting photographs for a long time, is digging around and found a bunch of lenses that I forgot I had because they were with a different kit than what I normally use. And I found a 70 to 300 millimeter lens that I think will work. This one is an F4 is F4 to F5.6, so it doesn't open up super wide, but it might if I'm doing some long timed exposures. So I'm looking forward to that, and this will lock into place, so I don't have to worry about this one, loosening up and slipping back. Some lenses will over time, that gear will fall apart and not stick. This one does have image stabilization though, and I'm pretty sure I need to turn image stabilization off when I'm doing those deep sky images. But again, I'm not really too concerned about that right now. I don't think I'm going to need a 70 millimeter on this, and this lens is pretty heavy because it does go from 70 to 300, but it's still a pretty awesome lens. I also found a 100 to 300 millimeter lens. This one is an f4. It's a little bit lighter. I think it's using some cheaper glass in this, but this one might work as well for those deep sky objects. So I'm kind of excited to try both of these out, or heck, if I've got two cameras, I could shoot two items at the same time, two objects at the same time. So that's kind of cool. So I've got these, but really I need to get a sky tracker first before I worry about using the telephoto lenses. However, I will, again, this Sunday, I'm looking forward to this. I do want to go out and shoot the wide sky and see what I can get just with the camera by its default. And I found my 17 to 40 millimeter lens. This one is also an f4. Again, not a lot of light is being allowed in. I want to try to open this up as much as I can. I don't want to try to resort to ISO on the camera, but I may have to. But the 17 to 40 will give me a fairly wide angle of view. But again, this one doesn't take in a lot of light, which is why for my first series of images, I'm going to use my Sigma 20 millimeter lens, which I have really fallen in love with this lens over the last couple of years. I really like it for shooting video. I like it for shooting interviews. It allows the camera to get a little bit closer. I really enjoy how this lens looks. And this one is an f1.8, so it's going to let a lot of light in, which means I don't have to have the shutter open for an extra long time to get images. And I think this one is really beautiful, and I've used it before. Maybe you don't like it. You can use the comment section below and let me know if you don't like the Sigma lens, but I really, really like the Sigma lens for shooting landscapes and interviews and a bunch of other stuff that I've been doing lately. So I really enjoy that. As far as keeping the lens open, I do have an intervalometer. I will be using my 5D Mark II or my 5D Mark III. I think I'm going to try the 5D Mark III first just to see how that works. But in order to have photos that last longer than 30 seconds, and I'll talk more about the 500 rule a little bit later, but if I'm going to go for minutes at a time, I need an intervalometer. Or if I'm going to take multiple images at the same time, I need an intervalometer. Or if I just want to hold down the shutter without touching the camera and causing extra shake, I need an intervalometer. Now, I'm recording this on the Canon EOS R, but I don't have an intervalometer for that, and I'm not a big fan of its built-in time-lapse features. For whatever reason, I just don't like it. Other people might. But if I ever decide to go and use the EOS R, which might be an option, I'm going to need to get a different intervalometer for that. Now, this is the Canon intervalometer. This is the TC, what is this? The BON3, or no, I'm sorry, the 80N3. Otherwise, it looks like bone. You kind of do get boned on this because this is kind of an expensive intervalometer. Somewhere around here, again, I'm going to have to dig in my camera kits. I do have the cheapo generic intervalometer that works with the Canon one that's like $40 or something like that. It works really, really well. So I might also use that in the future as well. But an intervalometer is another thing that is a must-have. And then I think that's it. So the next thing that I'm looking at, especially if I want to do exposures over 30 seconds with the 20 millimeter lens, I'm going to need that sky tracker. And there are a couple of sky trackers that I'm looking at. The first one is the Skywatcher Star Adventurer Pro Pack. This is put out by, I forget who is the manufacturer of this one off the top of my head. I kind of looked around online to see what other people were using, and the Skywatcher Star Adventurer Pro Pack was one that I saw a lot of people using. The other one that I see people using a lot is the ioptron Skyguider Pro EQ camera mount from ioptron. It's the red one. The Skywatcher is the white one with the green accents. And I see a lot of people using the ioptron one, and so I'm kind of leaning towards that one. These are both, I want to say, sub $500 sky trackers. The ioptron is like $428. The Skywatcher is $300 something. So I think those are, I mean, it's still relatively expensive, right? But when you're talking about lenses and how much money you dump into lenses, that can get kind of expensive as well. So sub 500 for a sky tracker is kind of what I'm looking at. Maybe you have some suggestions that I might want to consider as I'm looking at these sky trackers. If you would, you could just drop those down in the comment section as well. But again, according to my app here, the Clear Outside app, it's going to be clear on Sunday, and it's going to be a new moon on Sunday, and 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday. Oh, look at the green. I'm very excited about this, to get out there and start taking pictures, to take some good quality pictures, not just screwing around type stuff. But I'm really excited to go out and shoot that and share those results with you. And so we'll look for those hopefully in a week or so. Hopefully, I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed because, you know, the weather will change at any moment. But that's what I like about the Clear Outside app, is it kind of lets you know a couple of days in advance as to how things are looking. And right now, honestly, the weather on my weather app is saying rain tonight, rain tomorrow. So Sunday, I'm hoping, turns out to be a really nice day. Anyway, thanks for watching. Again, if you have any comments or thoughts or whatever, that's what the comment section is below. And thanks for watching.